All right, everyone. Guten Tag. What's going on? This is Tim, of course, New York Giants Straight Talk on the Believe Network. Want to talk about Giants training camp joint practice part deux. It was a little bit different of a day than yesterday. A little bit better of a day for the Giants than yesterday. I wasn't going to go out this morning, but then I had a doctor's appointment get canceled, and I was like, well, I might as well just truck my ass out there and see what I can see, give a little bit of information, give you guys a little bit of clear insight into what's going on, because there was some good stuff today. There was some good stuff today by the Giants, and we have to give the Giants full credit. And we got to give it's mainly the defense. It's mainly the defense that we need to talk about today, because defense kind of ruled the day on both. Whoa, wait a minute, hold on, I got a little feedback there. Defense seemed to rule the day on both sides of the ball, so we're gonna have to look at it that way. This is probably the best day. But why are people texting me? I'm working here. This is probably the best day that I have seen in camp in regards to Brian Burns. And that's not saying anything, because it's training camp, but he lived in the offensive backfield of the New York Jets. I mean, the defensive line, honestly, on both teams, both the Jets and the Giants, dominated today. This was strictly a defense. To me, this was strictly a defense bonanza. I guess we can call it bonanza. But if you take a look at it, from some of my very first takeaways, is the fact that, like I said, the defense really earned the stamp of approval today. You have Abdul Carter, who was working his magic today. He's been working on the spin move, and we have posted it. I posted it. We put the post, I don't know how many times, in reference to him in the spin move. It's if he can somehow equate that with the dip, he's not going to be able to do it as much as he thinks he's going to be able to do, especially when he's going into the middle of the field and doing into the middle of the line, because he's going to run. You're going to run into he does it with the center right now. But the problem is, if you have a proficient center who's trusting his guard, he's going to spin you right into the guard. So I'm hoping that the overuse and over reliance on it right now is just because of the fact that he's practicing it. And that's going to be my philosophy, that he's just practicing it right now. But Brian Burns lived in the defensive backfield. It really showed why the Giants went. If he can continue this, Brian Burns, throughout the remainder of the season, this really kind of shows why the Giants went out and traded for him. But like I said, we're going to have to wait and see, because all this is great. All this works well. But the problem is this: we are going to have to wait to see how it translates on Sunday. Once this starts for real, we're going to have to wait and see how this translates, because there was some problems. Paulson Adebo. First of all, Tay Banks was out today. Drew Phillips did come back. Adebo did have 3 pass breakups today, but he also got burned on a couple big plays. Garrett Wilson is just a marvel to watch. We think of the likes of Malik Neighbors, but the likes of Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is just he is a player to watch. But like I said, it's the secondary. Cordell Flott came back today. Drew Phillips, like I said, did come back, but it kind of looked like that they were taking it easy with him, that they were limiting his plays. Tyler Nubin, towards the end of the practice, had to actually take off his shoulder pads and massage what looked like it was some kind of cramp or some type of muscle spasm. I don't think it was anything that is going to be a hindrance for him. But it's something just to keep an eye. It's something just to keep an eye on. Like I said, I don't think it's anything terrible. But like I said, we just have to kind of just wait and see. It's interesting. Like I said, the defensive backfield at this point in time is two things are going to be a issue for this Giant defense that I've seen over and over again repeatedly. The play of the defensive backs are at times atrocious. And we were still, the way the interior of the line played today, we are still getting gashed on the outside run. For everything that you see that is beneficial towards this team in reference to the pass rush, the run itself, we still can't stop the run. We really can't. We really can't we cannot stop the outside run. And I'm just kind of curious where that's going to go for the Giants. And it's going to be one of those issues. It's going to be one of those issues repeatedly. And I think unless we figure out some type of defensive end play in reference to having the ability to stop the run, I think we're going to get run on. And I think we're going to get run on a lot. And I think that should be a issue right off the bat for this team. And I think it's just something that we may have to deal with the entire season. So like I said, this truly was an offensive day. This truly was a day that if you took a look at this and you took a look the way the Giants played and the way the Jets played, this was an offensive day. So I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, like I said, that we should be in a panic mode because the offense still seems to sputter. I'm not going to tell you we should be in a panic mode because the defensive secondary is still porous at times. And I'm not going to tell you we should be in a panic mode because of the fact that we still can't stop the outside run. But things are going to need to change. Unless you plan, and I'm going to get to everyone in the comments in a second, but unless you plan on getting like 50 sacks a game, we're going to, because like I said, smart teams, people last year were saying that the Giants passing defense was not that terrible last year. It wasn't that bad last year. It was actually at times pretty good. Well, here's the problem with that theory. When you get gashed in the run repeatedly, you don't need to pass. And I'm hoping that we don't run down that avenue, because I saw, and we always have to say it.
Stupid Giant Twitter post.
Oh, this one goes out to, I don't know what Giant channel it is, but this one goes out to them who says that Drew Phillips, our best cornerback, is back. Well, I had to point out that the league completed 75% of their passes against them for 9.1 yards and like 22 first downs. And they of course they threw up Pro Football Focus stats. Well, Pro Football Focus stats doesn't show anything. If you're relying on Drew Phillips to be your best corner, we're fucked. So we're gonna have to figure out something quickly. I don't know if it's going to be a vis-a-vis a trade or if Shane is going to wait till the end, but a true backup defensive run stopping end, a true outside linebacker, and maybe a CB2 is what this team is going to need. And we're going to get a better indication on Saturday against the Jets, because like I said, the Jets defense is an excellent defense. The Giant defense aspires to be what the Jets defense is, but I think, like I said, unless that front line dominates, we are going to have a lot of problems on the back end of this defense. So like I said, hey, listen, you know what? We got to go. Let's get the chat real quick. Goes, hey, Jay Sports goes, hey, Tim, should we get Paul Dina not on here? There's a long story about that. I'm not going to get into that. Hey, everyone, like the video. We are going to have, looks like, a special guest. I haven't confirmed the date yet, but along the lines of Carl Banks, we have another Giant legend probably coming on. So I'll give you information when I get to that. Jackson Dart, SZN. Jackson Dart. The big Giants one said, Big T dropping news. I'm trying to. James was hit the like button soon as you leave the field. I already did. Big James, I got to call you later if you're going to be around later, around like 6:30. The Skyline says, I'm here. Deb saying something good. Wow. That's really not true, Deb. I say everything good. The problem is people don't like to hear. I'm going to spell this out for you, Deb, because you're new to the channel. I'm going to spell this out for you. I really haven't been wrong in 4 years. All the slings and all the arrows and all the innuendos and all the negativity that I get from people, I always ask them, what have I gotten wrong? That's always a good question, because not a lot. So I always tell people, if you want everything is awesome, have sunshine blowing up your ass, Showed Sports, that's always a good show. The two tennis players that don't know anything, that's a good show. We just talk sports and we talk it honestly. What's up, Ryan and Big Blue Podcast? T-Brad says, hello from the record. I was more excited to see the defense. The defense, like I said, the defense looked good. Low, crazy timing, Tim. I just watched Midnight Cowboys. I'm walking here. Oh, my God. Strider says, hey, Tim, don't forget to drop the link. Also, I hope everyone is having a great day at work and on my break. Well, I will drop the link for you later, Slider. T-Brad says, hit that like button. We got Ginger saying, yo, yo, yo. Well, Strider also says, speaking of the Cowboys, I laughed my ass off so hard when the ref tackled him. Idiot turned his back in the play and assumed the TD was going to happen. He then was flagged and he wasn't playing. Jay Ferris says, sweet, just switch over from Big Blue banter. I don't even know what that is. What is? I have to look up. Now I got to look up Big Blue banter. What is that? I don't know. Well, now I can look that up. Big Blue banter. It's a podcast. It's a giant podcast. Oh my goodness gracious. Let me stand. I don't know what Big Blue banter is. Yo, Strider says, yo, Tim, I'm gonna get shocked if we don't have Andrew Thomas week 1. Andrew Thomas, like I said, I'm not the indication is, and this seems to be the plan, that they're going to slide Marcus Bowe over to his spot. He remains on the PUP list. He didn't practice at all today. He was in street clothes today. So, I mean, I think that's interesting. He won't be activated until the roster cutdown date, they're saying. So hopefully he's going to be in football shape, because the worst thing we can do is put him out there against division rivals when he's not ready to play. So I think that's going to be kind of an interesting thing as well. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wrote down here that was there was the fight though. That was no big deal. It was a little brouhaha. Greg Van Roten went to the ground. Bo joined in. It was no big deal. Camp fights are camp fights. They're stupid. So I'm trying to think what else I wrote down here. Really nothing else that was like I said, there's really nothing else that I really see. Like I said, defense ruled the day. Defense on both ends. And like I said, Paulson Adebo, the thing that I wrote down the most is he had a couple of pass breakups from Justin Fields to Garrett Wilson, but then he got smoked a couple times as well. What is Ryan? Why are you texting me? What are you fucking texting me about, Ryan? Let's see here. Film generations tonight or tomorrow. Ryan, I'm working. You know I'm working here. I'll text you later, Ryan. I'm working here. You're seeing Dane Belton a little bit more. You're seeing Dane Belton a little bit more over the field. It's kind of interesting to see. I remember, and I was kind of getting a little antsy during the Buffalo game because Dane Belton got turned around on 2 separate plays, on 2 separate missed tackles in the Buffalo game. We can't have that in this kind of secondary, and they're working him not just in 3 safety sets as well. So he was sharing reps with Drew Phillips at one point in time, but I think that has to do more with the fact that they were limiting the number of snaps that Drew Phillips was getting. So we got to kind of leave it there. Thomas says in the years past during camp joint practices, we get pushed around and dominated. It doesn't look like that case anymore. This team has a different kind of energy. The defense does. And Terrence, I'm going to tell you this. We got pushed around yesterday. The offense got destroyed yesterday. This today was a day that both offenses kind of sucked. But yesterday, yeah, we got pushed around. We got pushed around by a second unit. So, Deb, your sarcasm is not cute. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. First, I appreciate that. Shredder says, so Tim, the Giants pass rush ain't going to get 40 sacks. Oh, well, can't stop the run. Been saying that. And Carl Banks said that as well. Carl Banks says you need to earn the right to rush the passer, which is meaning you have to stop the run. I agree. But the thing is this, we've talked about this on this channel ad nauseum. A good pass rush can disguise deficiencies in your secondary, just like a good secondary can disguise deficiencies in your pass rush. The problem is, if you have a bad secondary and a good pass rush, if you don't get to the quarterback and you have a bad secondary, bad things are going to happen, and bad things are going to happen rapidly. So we need to figure this situation out rapidly. Wyatt, what's up, Wyatt? If you can't stop the run, the pass isn't as effective. If you can't stop the you're right. The pass is that effective. You can't stop the run. We gave up 2,000 yards last year and 15 plus touchdowns. Yeah, I mean that's the problem. And like I said, the main storyline today was we still can't stop the outside run. That was the storyline on defense. Like I said, the dominance of Brian Burns and Abdul Carter at times was very refreshing. But the problem is, the problem is you still were getting gashed on the outside, and we need to find a happy balance. We need to find our happy place. Happy Gilmore 1 and 2. We need to find our happy place and find a balance between rushing the passer, over aggressiveness, and having teams taking advantage of that. We need to scheme better, and I still am worried that Shane Bowen is where it's at. Jay, I just don't expect a lot of positive from Tim. Well, Deb, then leave. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. It's not called negativity. It's called giving both sides of the story. Evidently, you want the Cinderella version of the story. Well, you know what they said before. I always use the movie Cinderella Man. People die in fairy tales. So if you don't want to hear both sides of the story, go someplace else. You're all good. No, don't hurt my feelings. Jay Ferris says, Tim, did you put the McLovin in timeout? Haven't seen him in the bobblehead. Well, the hell, McLovin's in the background.
I am McLovin.
We have McLovin all ready to suit up and play. I have to keep McLovin out there. Oh, speaking of suiting up and play, Giants still 3.5-point dogs at home, according to FanDuel, the #1 sports book in America. We love FanDuel. Everyone knows we love FanDuel here. FanDuel is just awesome. I actually just used FanDuel the other day. You bet $5, you get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Not only do they have sportsbook, they got casino games, they got fantasy, they got racing, they got research, they got TV, they got everything you possibly need. Go out and check this out. I like I said, me, I like parlaying some bets on the Giants. So there's no better place to do it than FanDuel.com. So go there right now. Set yourself up an account. Join the #1 sports book in America. And of course, we all know what that is. Knock, knock. Who's there? It's FanDuel. Wyatt says, why can't the Giants stop the run? Because of the fact that you're I'm gonna read this. Oh yeah, Matt Sims is gonna come on again. Matt Sims is going to be coming on the week before the kickoff, so we could talk about the Giants and their starting quarterback in Jackson Dart. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That's going to be the week before the kickoff. We're going to have Matt on, so make sure you hang out for that. It's going to be a good show. It's because of the fact that we do not have a true defensive end. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter all do the same thing, are all the same size. So literally, they're all like you went to the copier and made a Xerox of the same player, except Abdul Carter has more speed than any of the other two. So the problem is this: if you cannot set the edge and maintain your assignment against the run, Carl Banks said it best. And I think it was Wyatt that brought it. No, it was the Strider that brought it up. if you can't do that, you have not earned the right to rush the passer. And this is what the Giants are going to have to do, because honestly, I'm Washington and I got a running quarterback like Jaden Daniels, and I have a pretty good running game, and I also have Deebo Samuels. I'm going to work the outside. I'm going to work both outsides ad nauseum until the Giants stop it. And then once the Giants creep, and I have a feeling they're going to rush the big three, I'm going over the top. Because of the fact that if you can't stop the run, you're more susceptible to the pass, because the first thing you're going to do to stop the run is bring that safety in the box. And the inability to stop the run, like I said, according to Deb, I'm negative, but I didn't sit there today and go, wow, you know what? They can't stop the run. They can't stop the outside run. It wasn't my fault. That's just what I see. And this is what pisses me off about people. We've been right for 4 years about almost everything, because we take the fan perspective out of it. And we take a look at it and say, okay, this is what the team is. I didn't invent it. I didn't put this team together. Douglas says, hey, Douglas, what's up, brother? Hey, Tim, how was training camp today? It was good. I got a little sunburn as usual. I had my big white giant sombrero on, I like to call, hiding in the background. Damn, Shador got hurt with the oblique muscle. I saw that. Big respect for you, Deb. But you put up with all of our crap. You're a massive, dedicated fan. Ryan Williams, I haven't seen you forever. Let's see here. Cofield and Robbins will never get the love they deserve. Cofield and Robbins will never get Cofield and Robbins will never get the credit they deserve for what they did in 2007, because of the fact that you're going to focus on the pass rush with Strahan. So Ryan Williams, I haven't seen you in a while. So Ryan, I think the Giants defense looks good, but I can't say that about the offense. They're still struggling to move the ball, but I am being optimistic. Here's the thing with the offense. Defenses, to me, always should be ahead of the offense, because the defenses, normally you're just attacking. The offenses have to work on their timing. They have to work on the different nuances of each offensive lineman. You have to integrate different wide receivers. And our wide receiving core outside of Malik Nate, like I said, we have a top 10 wide receiving core when Malik Neighbors is healthy. We have like a top 25 when he's not in the lineup. Little Jordan Humphreys, Montrell Washington. These are guys that did everyone remember when we started Travis Rudolph from Florida State? These are guys that are just not on the same level as other teams in our division. And they're great feel-good camp stories, but those camp stories turn into horror stories when they have to go up against actual NFL defenses. So we're going to need to figure out what we have with Darius Slayton. Jalen Hyatt made an appearance today, which was good. We got to get him into the game on Saturday, which I will be at. So if anyone else is going, come over and hang out. Have a beer. Don't cost nothing. Deb says, thanks. I enjoy the banter. Wyatt Strong says, down the man. Brian's probably what podcast is. Tiki Barber. No, it's not going to be Tiki Barber. I'm not saying who it is. We held off on talking about, we knew about Carl Banks for a while, and we held off on that. This one, I want to have it, because this one's going to be a pre-recorded interview. I want to have it done in the can and ready to broadcast before I say who it is. So, and like I said, so it's going to be fun. And I want to, like I said, I want to thank everyone. The numbers have been fantastic for these last 2 months. They've been kind of extraordinary. So, I mean, it's great. And like I said, we picked up a lot of new people, and a lot of new people that have an understanding of football. In the last, where are we at here? In the last 28 days, we've had over 400,000 views. So yeah, that's a little crazy, because let's see, in July's numbers, we had over 168,000 views, and so far in August we have 267,000 views. So I want to give everyone a big shout out and a big thanks for supporting and doing what they're doing. Why it's Tim is a negative Nelly? No, I'm a negative Nancy. Mike, what's up, Big Mike? What's up, Big Mike? Big Mike Villanueva. What's up? I don't know why I'm calling Villanueva. I'm actually thinking of Carlos Villanueva right now. I ran into him, former NBA player, like 4 weeks ago. And he's an interesting guy because you could recognize him immediately. Deb says, I'm here to balance. You're right. Most others do blow sunshine, and I want reality. Well, then, if you want reality, welcome. Let's see. Herbologist Tim, Big Blue Nation, the angry black man. What's up? My brother, the angry black man, I think he's working. So, Big L Gigantic says, what have you gotten wrong? Don't get me started. I'm looking at you, Jalen Hyatt. I wasn't wrong about Jalen Hyatt. I didn't misuse Jalen Hyatt. But yeah, technically, I guess I was wrong about Jalen Hyatt. Let's see your Big Blue podcast. It's not bad. Well, Slider, you're Slider's banned. Jay Ferris says, Mo content creators just say nice things. I see it every year. The real content creators just balance the universe out and are usually more realistic. Both have their good qualities. Well, thank you. Thank you, Jay Ferris. That's probably one of the nicest things you've said about that. Zach Attack. What's up, Zach Attack? What's up, my brother? You still working? You working today, or is it after 5? I don't even know what time it is. Russell Wilson is an aging quarterback, but he is a veteran, decent quarterback. The Russell Wilson quarterback, and listen, everyone wants Jackson Dart. Everyone's clamoring for Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's not ready. Jackson Dart hasn't gotten any first team. Jackson Dart has not gotten any first team reps yet. So he's ran mainly the second team because that's what he is. And for all the good that he has done, he's not ready. He's not even close to ready. That first day against the Jets, he had one nice catch, but it was a bad throw and a great catch. And everyone wants to rush this kid. You can't rush. If you rush this kid, I'm not going to say he's going to be a David Carr. But if you rush this kid, you're only doing it to your own detriment. Yeah, everyone wants to see Rocky Road over Vanilla Wilson. But sometimes Rocky Road has nuts in it, and if you're allergic to nuts, you might die. So let Russell Wilson, the consummate. You know what I just want to see from Russell Wilson? I was thinking about this yesterday. I just want a professional quarterback. I just want a guy to come in here who has an understanding of the NFL and the understanding of how to move an offense and score maybe 24 points a game. I'll take 23. But have an understanding. Everyone wants to talk about 8 drives from Jackson Dart against a second-team Buffalo defense who had one of the worst defenses last year in reference to rushing the passer. Why they went out and got Bosa and Oliver and these other people. We talked about this. He went up against the Jets second-teamers and didn't look good at times, but he's a rookie. So you only throw the rookie into the fray if you think that you are not going to be in the playoffs. If you think you're going to be in the playoffs, you play Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, for a 37-year-old and all the issues that he has, is a better quarterback than Jackson Dart is right now. Let's see here. Dan the Man turned 18 on Saturday. Dan the Man. Super Bowl turns 8. Oh, yeah, Super Bowl does turn 18 on Saturday. You're right. Super Bowl turns starting on OnlyFans. Jay, what do we got here? We got Skyline says, Tim, we've had to stop the promise of run since the Cleveland preseason game. Joe Judge doesn't manage. Management does not respect the run anymore because of the emphasis on passing. We've talked about that ad nauseum. I pointed it out during that joint practice in Cleveland, and then I pointed it out during the game that Cleveland, all they did was gash us to the outside. And really, that has been the trademark of running against the Giants for going on 5 years. And we still haven't fixed it. And I don't understand, even with the likes of Blake Martinez and Bobby Okereke and bringing in different guys, the problem is if you don't have defensive ends who can set the edge, maintain their assignments, and play the run, you're going to have what I've seen the last 10 times at camp, where Cam Scatterbo, Tyrone Tracy, even had Turbo Miller at one point in time. They just gash your team. And like I said, I can't tell if Cam Scatterbo can turn the edge or make the edge because of the fact that our Giant defense is so terrible at setting the edge. I can't tell if this kid can do it or not yet. So we have to wait. We kind of got to wait and see. See you against real competition. Off Broadway. What's up, Off Broadway? What's up, Big Timmy? Y'all says off Broadway. Beers don't cost nothing. Are you buying? Dude, I'm always buying. Come down the game on Sunday. Come out, throw you a beer. Hit the like button on the way in today. Who's going to the game on Sunday? Anyway, Sunday. Why do I keep fucking saying so? I wish it was Sunday. Anyone who's going on Saturday, 7 p.m. And what the hell is that? What the hell is this other preseason game being at 8 o'clock on a Thursday? Yeah, I don't have a job, but that's a lot going on. You little Dasani. David, what's up, David? Oh my God, you are interviewing Daniel Jones finally. Funny story. I'm not going to tell you that story, but I'll tell you that story. I'll tell you that story one day. Well, let's say if you start out 0-6, I'm doing something else with my time. I'll take up bird watching or something else. No, you don't. Here's what I'm going to tell you why. If the Giants start 0-6, they're going to play Jackson Dart. So you might as well watch. That's something. The maturation of a potential franchise quarterback is something to watch, and I think you would enjoy that. I think that would I think you would have a good time with that. I think fans, because you're going to have these moments where you get excited, but then you're going to have these moments where we did it with Eli Manning in 2004. You're going to have some of these moments you're like, yikes. But you're going to have these moments that we hope, I should rephrase this. There's going to be moments that we hope that we can hang our hat on that Jackson Dart's going to be a franchise quarterback. So, yeah, if you go 0-6, don't worry about it. Bobby Skinner looks like a blimp. Oh, my God. What do you think of Cop Izzle? He's an idiot. He's a fucking idiot. He's a moron. And he probably shouldn't bring his kids on. But that's just me. And he's a homer who sucked the dick of Daniel Jones for 6 seasons and all of a sudden turned around and said, I never said any of that. Used to like him. Used to like him as a person. But he's a fucking idiot. He does things for shock value. Doesn't do anything in regards to, I don't know, actually having a thought of football. There are channels that are fan channels and they don't give you football thoughts, but then they tried to disguise their thoughts as football thoughts. But then if you look at them, listen to them, and someone as me who's played in college or got to work in the league, you look at them and say, what the fuck are they talking about? That's Cop Izzle. Dexter, 6,000 plus on FanDuel. Oh, really? For defensive player of the year. That's kind of a fun bet if you play 17 games. Oh, I like that, Jay. First, good one. Douglas says, don't rush Jackson Dart, please. He has potential, but let potential sit and stew. I don't want potential to sit and stew. I want potential to sit and learn. That's what I want potential to do. I want potential to sit and learn. Back in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, and the 90s, before free agency, you would sometimes take the quarterback in the first round, and they wouldn't see the field for 5 years because you could stash people away on the roster, and they learned. And then when they finally got their opportunity, they had been learning so much against the consummate professional that they played well, or sometimes they just flamed out. We can't do that now because once you take a quarterback in the first round, the 5-year clock ticks because you need to win within those first 5 years. Unless you do a Jalen Hurts contract, you're going to get priced out, kind of like Joe Burrows, and wreck the team if you don't win in your first 5 years. Timmer, what's up, Basme? Richard Murphy, I was thinking, Manti. No. 24 points a game. Yeah, 24 points a game. Why cannot? You're talking 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Why can't a consummate professional team, an NFL team, score 24 points a game? I'm not saying you got to score. I'm not saying you have to average 24 points a game, but I'd like to see 24 points. We played at 14.9 points a game. We scored 14.9, let's say 31st in the league last year. So, I mean, yeah. We were only the last of 32nd. Oh, that's not good. That's not okay. Community listening now says off Broadway. Let's see here. You know what, guys? We're gonna have to cut this stream short today. I'm sorry. I got something that just came through that I'm gonna have to. If I had to be around the Big Blue Wrecking Crew, I'm sure it feels different, but I never liked the 3-4 defense. All right, listen, guys. I actually have to cut this stream short today. I just got a notification that I got to really go take care of something. And it is an emergency, not a bad emergency. Nothing's wrong. Nobody's sick. Nobody's dying. Just I have to take care of something right now. So you know what? Well, maybe we'll try to stream again tomorrow. So again, I apologize for everyone that we have to cut this short. But as always, I'm okay. Everything's all right. I really have to take care of this. I have to take care of this issue that has just occurred. And you know what, guys? We're out of here.